Right now on News 3 this morning, Sunday, Madison's Catholic community will have the chance to pay their respects to the late Bishop Robert Morlino. Plus,
is that the one?
Yeah.
And then the dog toy? Okay, so $30.
this man's love for animals is just like being wrapped in a warm blanket. A special Do Something Good story this Sunday morning. And the Badgers are bowl-bound, but where are they headed? We'll preview the projections ahead of today's big announcement.
This is News 3 This Morning, Sunday.
Good morning and welcome to News 3 This Morning, Sunday, 6:30 in the morning on this December 2nd. I'm Josh Breiter with meteorologist Chris Reese, and hopefully you're kind of snuggled up with that warm blanket, maybe a nice fire this morning.
Yeah.
It's not a nice one, again.
Certainly a cold night overnight.
Yes.
Last night, I know
Some
I wanted to
thunder.
wrap up. We had some thunder along with some sleet.
A little bit of everything.
I know, thunder, sleet. About time I got some thunder with some wintry weather out there. We are still tracking lots of snow across parts of the northern tier, the viewing area. All of that has somewhere to go, and that's going to be southeastward as we go through the day. Right now, that snow is around the Dells and northward through places like Mauston and Reedsburg towards Camp Douglas. All of you guys getting in on some snow, and eventually that will pivot and work its way towards the south and east as we go through the afternoon. In the meantime, we do have a lot of fog and some light drizzle out there. In fact, here's how it'll play out. By 1:30 towards 4 o'clock, I do think that's going to be the prime time to get some of the heaviest snow to come on through here. From there, it'll get lighter and eventually come to an end by the time we get you throughout the dinner time hours later on tonight. By 10 o'clock, most of that should be out of here. We won't see much accumulation, but we will have winter weather advisories to the north that last until 12 o'clock. That's where several inches of snow will be on the ground when all is said and done this afternoon. But this morning, expect temperatures to stay steady right around 34 degrees. A wintry mix changing over to snow by the afternoon. Light snow and falling temperatures. We'll see a high around 34, but continually dropping through the 30s and into the upper 20s as we go through the rest of tonight.
It was kind of a fun day yesterday following the Channel 3000 app because you can see the difference between the rain and the snow, and it really isn't that far away.
It really is not. I thought about chasing one direction to see snow, but then I knew if I chased another direction, I could see tornadoes yesterday. It was a wild one for the weather, but I just stayed put and enjoyed the wind and rain here.
Oh, December in Wisconsin.
Yes, it is.
All right, Chris, thank you so much.
Anytime.
6:32 is your time right now, and just into the newsroom this morning, Madison police say no one was injured after shots were fired in downtown. It happened just east of the Monona Terrace on the 100 block of South Butler Street. Officers say around 2 this morning they responded to the report and saw dozens of people running from the area near South Butler downtown. During the disturbance, officers heard a shot. Right now, police haven't located any injured people or property, but they continue to investigate. If you were near that area early this morning and know anything, you're asked to call Madison Police. Happening this week, Madison's Catholic community will have a chance to pay their respects to the late Bishop Robert Morlino. A vigil and a visitation will be held for Bishop Morlino at Holy Name Heights tomorrow afternoon from 1 until 7. Morlino died at the age of 71 after suffering an apparent heart attack while undergoing medical tests 2 weeks ago. His funeral will be held Tuesday at St. Maria Goretti on the west side. James Partilla is serving as administrator for the Madison Diocese until Pope Francis appoints a new bishop. That process could take up to a year. Flags across the country continue to fly at half-staff this morning in honor of former President George H.W. Bush. He passed away this weekend at his home in Houston at the age of 94. Bush will lie in state at the U.S. Capitol starting tomorrow before a memorial service at the National Cathedral in D.C. on Wednesday. A second memorial service will be at St. Martin's Episcopal Church in Houston. Bush will be laid to rest at his presidential library in College Station, Texas, alongside his wife, Barbara. The former president's memory is living on through the people he's influenced, many here in Wisconsin. Our Maddie O'Neill sat down with a former executive director to the state's Republican Party who is fondly remembering the times he shared with George H.W. Bush.
I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States.
If you didn't know he was president, you wouldn't assume so. He was the nicest, kindest man.
Brandon Scholes should know he was involved in almost every one of George H.W. Bush's trips to Wisconsin when he was president.
He was quick with a handshake and wanted to know who you were and what you did.
As an executive director to the state's Republican Party and then chief of staff to Congressman Scott Klug, his path crossed with Bush's before, during, and after 41's presidential campaign.
We were all a lot younger then.
From train rides to Mother's Day events.
They're just great memories.
These are the memories Scholes is cherishing today.
Oh, I was sad.
After learning of Bush's death Friday night,
I said, oh my, it's just such a great loss.
Scholes is mourning the loss of a president, veteran, and public servant.
That's all he did, was to serve, and to serve as honorably and as honestly as he possibly could. And I mean, I'm lucky that I got to meet him. I'm lucky that I was able to work for him and to do events and be a part of what he did when he came to Wisconsin. I'll always remember that.
Especially today, as he's holding those memories close.
I will never be sad. When I think about them or I think about the events that we had, I'll always be happy.
In Madison, Madeline O'Neill, WISC News 3.
And many politicians are using social media to post tributes to Bush. We heard from Governor Scott Walker yesterday, who says he cast his first vote for president for him in 1988. Former Wisconsin Governor Tommy Thompson also weighing in. Thompson served as governor during Bush's presidency and went on to serve in his son's administration. He calls Bush a good friend who he worked closely with on many positive reforms. Wisconsin Senator Tammy Baldwin says she respects Bush's commitment to service, saying his humility and kindness serve as an example for all who follow him in public service. And former President Barack Obama says America lost a patriot and humble servant while talking about Bush's 70 years of service to our country. The tributes will continue into the week. President Trump announced that a day of mourning will happen this Wednesday across the country. These days are typically given to a select few, usually to former presidents of the United States, and involve memorial activities and ceremonies. The New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ plan to close on Wednesday out of respect. Back here in Wisconsin, if you live in Verona, you'll likely be seeing some triple-digit increases in your property tax bill this year. This is because of an error by the city assessor. Paul Musser says he added an extra zero in the online form, changing the way the city's finances look to state officials. On the average valued home, the owners will pay an extra $135 this year. The Common Council is reconsidering its contract for the assessor. The people running Madison's newest music venue want fans to be careful when buying tickets online right now. More and more scammers are posting about extra tickets to shows at the Sylvie on Facebook when the sellers aren't even from the Madison area. Sylvie staff have also seen an uptick in third-party ticketing sales when someone purchases tickets and jacks up prices 4 or 5 times what they originally paid. Sylvie says the safest way to get tickets is either from the physical box office or on the Sylvie's website through Ticketmaster. Construction could start as soon as this spring on another apartment complex on Madison's far east side. This one would be on Penny Street, not far from the new Royster Corners development on Cottage Grove Road. A Madison-based company wants to put up an 88-unit apartment building with underground parking. That application will be considered by the city's Plan Commission tomorrow night. If approved, it would be ready for tenants by spring of 2020. The Penny Library in that area is now closed. It is moving into a temporary space in the old Ace Hardware store on Cottage Grove Road. Staff expects to open in that space at the start of the year, and they'll be likely there until 2020 when the library will permanently move into the Royster Corners building. Right now, downtown businesses are decking the halls ahead of the holidays. The city's Central Business Improvement District and local businesses are partnering for the second year of the Downtown Madison Window Decorating Competition. 18 retailers will participate this year. The theme is What Makes Us Shine. You can see a map of participating businesses and vote on your favorite window until December 18th. 6:39 this morning, life expectancy continues to go down across the U.S. A new report from the CDC shows an increase in drug overdoses and suicides are a driving force behind those numbers. It's data like that making resources like United Way's Recovery 211 line increasingly important. The new addiction resource has already received 50 calls from the Dane County area and 500 across the state. This particular helpline started after new numbers showed deaths from opioid overdoses in Wisconsin outpaced car-related deaths. The Addiction Recovery Line is open 24/7. You can access it online at addictionhelpwi.org or over the phone by dialing 211. The National Suicide Hotline is always available too at 1-800-273-8255. There's something about a blanket that brings comfort and security, and it's no different for our furry friends. You might have seen Jeff Hopwood at places like the Shoebox, Metcalf's West, or at 10 Pin Alley, selling blankets homemade by him for your best friend. Years ago, he wanted to help in a way to help homeless animals in our area, so he came up with this side business of sorts called Blankets by Jeff.
It started as a fundraiser to help raise money for the animals. Over the years, it just kind of grew.
Coming up in the next hour of News 3 This Morning Sunday, we have a special Do Something Good story for you, where Jeff will share tales that even some of his most loyal customers don't even know about him and the people and pets he helps. It might have been a disappointing year for the Wisconsin Badgers football team, but we'll find out later today who they'll be playing in their 17th straight bowl game. At 7-5, the Badgers finished the year in second place in the Big Ten West Division and 5th overall in the conference. Right now, CBS Sports is predicting the Badgers will end up facing Missouri in the Tax Slayer Bowl in Jacksonville, Florida on New Year's Eve. We'll let you know where the Badgers officially end up on the Channel 3000 mobile app. Tickets will go on sale Tuesday. If the Packers want any chance at a postseason, it starts with a win this afternoon. They'll host the 2-9 Cardinals at Lambeau at noon. Aaron Rodgers may be without his best lineman to watch his blind side. Left tackle David Bakhtiari was limited at practice this week and may be a game-time decision. That could be a problem when it comes to trying to slow down Arizona's Chandler Jones, who has 11 sacks this year. You can catch today's game on Fox, and we'll, of course, have post-game highlights on our news tonight. The Packers have to win the rest of their games this season to make it to the playoffs. 6:42 this morning, and there's more sloppy weather ahead for us on Sunday. Here's a live look outside this morning. There's the Capitol. Looks like another day to be inside. Chris is in next to time it all out for us on News 3 This Morning Sunday.
A cold Sunday morning, but it is dry right now as we are in a little bit of a break between the action, but expect things to pick back up later on as we go to the afternoon and evening. We've been tracking this system since yesterday and really since before yesterday, and most of the rain and, well, the snow actually is far to our north as of now, but that will gradually begin to pivot its way south and east as we go through the day. Here's a live look outside right now. We do have a lot of the cloud cover. The temperature is at 34 degrees, so still a couple degrees above freezing, but I do think we'll see those temperatures drop into the afternoon. Winds will pick back up as well. Right now, they're just sustained at 12 miles per hour, but I do think they will become stronger into the afternoon. Here, temperatures across the southern half of the state, and you see most of us do have those temperatures that are in the low 30s. There are a few 40s out there. Winds are coming out of the north and east, but as we go into the afternoon, we're going to see those winds turn out of the north and west, and that's when we'll begin to see some of that snow work its way on into the area. In fact, as you watch the radar right now, watch how that changes in time. We'll see the snow begin to work its way on in. Probably around 1 to 2 o'clock, snowflakes will begin to fly, picking up in intensity around 3 to 4 o'clock. I think that's when it will be at its heaviest around here. Even still, it'll be light snow, but by the time you get through the dinner time hours and eventually towards 9 or 10 o'clock, a lot of that snow will be coming to an end across south central Wisconsin as the storm moves off. And we are not talking about a lot of snow by any means, probably an inch at best around here in the Madison area. Most folks will even be less than that. But as that system departs, high pressure out of Canada works its way on in, and that's a cold pattern that's going to take up shape as we go through the next couple of days. In fact, temperature-wise, going into tomorrow, likely won't get above freezing. We'll drop into the 20s tonight, and then with the cloud cover sticking around through early tomorrow, 30 degrees is about as good as it's going to get. And then we continue to watch those temperatures drop into the 20s as we go into the middle and end of the week. In fact, 20s will be the high temperatures for the next several days and beyond, and temperatures will be staying below average across the eastern half of the country, at least over the next 6 to 10 days, before I do think there are chances of us going above average as we go through December. We're also looking predominantly dry. We'll see some cloud cover around, and there's a chance of some light accumulating snow Thursday and into Friday, but other than that, we're partly to mostly cloudy each day with temperatures that'll be in the 20s for the next, looks like 7 to 10 days there.
I just want some sunshine, Chris.
I think we can manage to get at least some sunshine in here, but we'll have to get rid of that low cloud layer first.
All right, Chris, thank you.
Anytime.
6:48 right now. Turns out you can be a calendar model at any age. Just ask 12 women from Appleton. The ladies range in age from 70-something to north of 90. They also appear in the 2019 Touchmark calendar. Touchmark is an assisted living facility in the Fox Valley. The women involved say they work out several times a week, understanding that fitness is good for their futures. It's that mentality and their cheeky calendar these pinup girls are hoping will inspire others their age to get active.
I think it's important that people understand that age is only a number. I mean, I could be 73 and very sedentary, or I can be 73 and very active.
I was thinking, well, not only are these people beautiful here, but they are strong and fit, and we are gaining muscle tone all the time, and I thought, why don't we make a calendar to show off our fitness?
Love it, ladies. The calendars are for sale at Touchmark for $8 a piece, and in the spirit of women helping women, all proceeds are being donated to Harbor House domestic abuse programs. 6:49 right now. Playtime isn't just fun anymore, it's also a time to learn. The new company putting education at the forefront this holiday season. And there are plenty of new toys hitting store shelves this time of year. Some come with a dangerous warning. What you need to know before getting your holiday shopping done when News 3 This Morning Sunday returns.
Lots of cloud cover out there this morning. The rain from last night has taken a break for now, but I do think we'll see more of a wintry mix and snow picking back up into the afternoon. 34 degrees is the temperature right now. We'll stay steady right around 34 degrees going through the morning and even into the afternoon before those temperatures begin to fall. But in the afternoon, that's where we'll see that light snow moving back into the area as well. Here's the radar right now. You see most of that snow is to our north around the Dells and up through Camp Douglas and Black River Falls. But as we put this into motion by 3:30, 4 o'clock, I do think we'll have a nice good clip of snow coming down in our area before that all begins to wind down from dinner time and beyond. Josh?
All right, Chris, thank you. 6:53 this morning. With the holiday gift-giving season just around the corner, a consumer watchdog group is out with its annual warning about dangerous toys. Kenneth Craig reports from New York.
Small magnets, balloons, and slime top this year's Trouble in Toyland report from the U.S. Public Interest Research Group. Ahead of the holidays, the Consumer Watchdog Group tested 40 potentially hazardous toys and declared 15 dangerous to children.
You shouldn't have to be a detective. You shouldn't have to worry that the toy you're giving a child might be toxic or dangerous.
The group says potentially unsafe toys are still widely available, including those with high concentrations of chemicals and potential choking hazards. Researchers found 6 popular brands of slime contain high amounts of the chemical boron.
If you ingest it in moderate amounts, can cause vomiting, nausea, and long-term reproductive health issues.
In order for a child to consume 45 grams of boron, they have to eat like 2.5 pounds of slime.
Ken Sider is with the Toy Association, a trade group that represents toy makers. He calls the list deliberately misleading and notes the U.S. has some of the strictest toy standards in the world.
Is the toy industry committed to making sure toys are safe?
Absolutely.
Researchers found 87% of latex balloons sold on Amazon don't have legally required warnings about choking hazards, and the group also urged parents to avoid buying these tiny rare earth magnets.
Swallowing more than one of these can rip through stomach lining.
Both the toy industry and researchers agree, despite these concerns, toys are safer than ever before, thanks to decades of work by safety advocates. Kenneth Craig, CBS News.
This year, toys with internet connections also made the list because they could be collecting data on children and sharing it with others. A Silicon Valley toy company is focused on creating toys that make kids smarter this holiday season. Kiwi Company has a STEM toy subscription service. It delivers age-specific Kiwi crates to kids in order to encourage them to create and innovate as an alternative to video games and screen time. The company will sell their 10 millionth Kiwi crate this holiday season. Industry-wide sales of scientific, non-screen toys grew 23% last year. Kiwi crates aren't sold in stores, only online. 6:56 is your time, and there's a full hour of real news ahead here on News 3 This Morning Sunday. We have a look at this morning's headlines coming up, including the events planned to honor the late Bishop Robert Morlino this week. But first, here's a preview of what's to come and an all-new For the Record.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Neil Heinen. Today on For the Record, we will explore the indefensible prevalence of hunger in our society and our communities and the staggering number of children who are regularly hungry. And we will tell you how you can help. My guests are Second Harvest of Southern Wisconsin President and CEO Dan Stein and child hunger specialist Andrea Drager. And that's coming up this morning on WISC.
It was just so exciting. I was excited to have it start.
A young Mount Horeb man is finding a way to do something good for animals he will most likely never meet.
This is News 3 This Morning Sunday.
Good Sunday morning and welcome back to News 3 This Morning Sunday. It is 7 in the morning on December 2nd. I'm Josh Breiter. Meteorologist Chris Reese is tracking more rain and snow for our Sunday, but first here's what's making news this morning. Madison's Catholic community will have a chance to pay their respects to the late Bishop Robert Morlino this week. A vigil and visitation will be held for Bishop Morlino at Holy Name Heights tomorrow afternoon from 1 until 7. Morlino died at the age of 71 after suffering an apparent heart attack while undergoing medical tests 2 weeks ago. His funeral will be held Tuesday at St. Maria Goretti on the west side. James Partilla is serving as administrator for the Madison Diocese until Pope Francis appoints a new bishop. That process could take up to a year. If you live in Verona, you'll likely be seeing some triple-digit increases in your property tax bill this year. This is because of an error by the city assessor. Paul Musser says he added an extra 0 in an online form, changing the way the city's finances look to state officials. On the average valued home, the owner will pay an extra $135 this year. The Common Council is reconsidering its contract for the assessor. If you're planning to go to a concert sometime soon, the people running Madison's newest music venue want fans to be extra careful when buying tickets right now. More and more scammers are posting about extra tickets to shows at the Sylvie on Facebook when the sellers aren't even from the Madison area. Sylvie staff have also seen an uptick in the third-party ticketing sales where someone purchases tickets and jacks up the prices 4 or 5 times what they originally paid. Sylvie says the safest way to get tickets is either from the physical box office or the Sylvie's website through Ticketmaster. There could soon be a new stretch of trail along the north side of Lake Mendota. The county is looking at paying $200,000 for nearly 6 acres of land where half-a-mile trail would run parallel to County Highway M. That would eventually link up to paths in Governor Nelson State Park. The hope is to eventually connect places like Governor Nelson, Pheasant Branch Conservancy, Mendota County Park, and Schumacher Farm Park, all with off-road bike trails. 2 minutes past 7 right now, and it looks like it's going to be another wet one if you're going to hit the trails today, Chris.
Yeah, that's right. We are in a break in the action right now, but more of that snow is just to our north and west, and eventually as we go through the afternoon, we're going to see this start to take a turn towards the south and east going through the day. If you live up in the Dells right now, you're getting in on some of that snow. Same for Camp Douglas, La Crosse, and Viroqua, all getting in on that. The winds have even died down across Madison so far, but what's happening is that region of low pressure is passing right over us as we speak. And as we go farther into the afternoon, the wind will come back, as will the precipitation. And so here's how we expect that to play out. By 3:30, we'll likely be windy with snow flying as well. Some of this could stick, but again, temperatures are marginal and the snow won't be all that heavy. So I don't think we will see much out of this, but it will come to an end as we get you towards the afternoon and evening hours, where we could end up with several inches of accumulation. That is where we have the winter weather advisories, and that accumulation has really already happened. They may get a little bit more snow, but expect that advisory to come to an end around lunchtime today. So this morning, temperatures staying steady right around 34 degrees. We'll have that mix of snow taking place with light snow into the afternoon. Again, our high likely has already happened for the day. I still think we'll see those temperatures continuing to decrease going into the afternoon. If you're headed out on this Sunday, here's how first alert traffic is shaping up for everyone. This is the Beltline at Todd Drive. Very few cars are out there. The road's just wet, not frozen, but just wet as of now. And so far, we don't have any issues across the city of Madison this morning to report either. Josh?
All right, Chris, thank you. Flags across the country continue to fly at half-staff this morning in honor of former President George H.W. Bush. He passed away this weekend at his home in Houston at the age of 94. Bush will lie in state at the U.S. Capitol from tomorrow until Wednesday before a memorial service at the National Cathedral in D.C. Wednesday afternoon. A second memorial service will be at St. Martin's Episcopal Church in Houston this Thursday. Bush will be laid to rest at his presidential library in College Station, Texas, alongside his wife, Barbara. Tributes for the former president will continue into the week. President Trump announcing that a day of mourning will happen this Wednesday across the country in honor of George H.W. Bush. These days are typically given to a select few, usually to former presidents of the United States, and involve memorial activities and ceremonies. The New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ plan to close on Wednesday out of respect. 5 minutes past 7 right now, and there's something special about an object like a stuffed animal or blanket that brings you comfort. And that's really no different for your dog or cat. Well, there's a young man in Mount Horeb whose life changed years ago when he decided to do something good for homeless animals. As our Charlotte DeLeste shows us, he's helping them and animals who do have loving homes, one blanket at a time.
Good ball. Thank you.
Jeff Hopwood isn't here to bowl. That's not his thing. He's here to sell.
Jeff, do your thing here.
So do you have a boy or a girl dog?
Making blankets is his thing.
Are you looking for maybe a one that will fit for both? It started as a fundraiser to help raise money for the animals. Over the years, it just kind of grew.
Blankets by Jeff started over 4 years ago.
I have a small blanket for $15. All right. Medium are $25. Okay. Large are $40. To the next corner.
He pays for all the material himself from the 5 different cleaning jobs he has. And he, with his foster mom, Deb, shop for what they think will be best sellers.
We kind of look for the dog and cat patterns. And then sometimes we'll get plaids or things like that.
If you haven't guessed by now,
I really love animals. I've had dogs growing up and I had cats growing up.
But there's one dog in particular that ended up being a blessing in disguise.
We came across Blessing. His name was Ralphie or something. And he had 3 legs. When he and I met, basically, he laid his head right next to mine, and I'm like, we gotta have him. He's mine. And from that day on, we were bonded.
Tied together like each knot on Jeff's blankets.
And then just recently, he passed away.
In addition to sharing his story about Blessing, he also shared something unexpected. Something he wants people to know.
I am somebody who has autism.
You've really shown people that despite having autism, big deal, right?
Right. You can do anything you put your mind to. Honestly, I don't think there's such a thing as normal. Hi there, how are you tonight?
What is normal for Jeff is treating his customers with kindness and selling his blankets.
This one is one of my favorites. Yeah. Otherwise, this one is a really cute one. I woof you.
Because with every sale, he knows the money will do something good and be a blessing to animals in need.
I really hope that I one day could sell out. It keeps me busy with that besides all my jobs. My money box, too. It keeps me busy, which is a good thing because it keeps me out of trouble. So will be $50.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Nice to meet you.
Thanks for all the work you do.
That was Charlotte DeLeste reporting. Jeff will be selling his blankets at Miller's in Mount Horeb today, starting at 9 this morning. He'll be back at 10 Pin Alley next Saturday at 11. If you can't make it to any of these places, you can also order blankets on his Facebook page, Blankets by Jeff. A local distillery that filed for bankruptcy will go up for public auction this month. We're talking about the Middleton-based Death's Door Spirits. The 13-year-old distillery produced gin, vodka, and other spirits for sale around the world. According to the Cap Times, they have about $5.2 million in liabilities and filed for bankruptcy the day before Thanksgiving. The company could be up for public auction as soon as December 19th. Officials say the distillery will be sold intact. If you're looking forward to hitting the slopes with the family this winter, there's a place to get gear for a good price this weekend. The UW Hoofer Ski and Snowboard Club is having a resale event where you can get deals on skis, snowboards, and apparel. You can shop new or slightly used gear for all ages. And if you're looking to donate something you've outgrown, you can also clean it and drop it off at Union South. The sale happens all day. Proceeds go to Hoover's Trips, including their annual free ski trip with nonprofits like the Boys and Girls Club. 7:09 this morning. It's another dreary morning out there. Let's take a live look outside as we're waiting for more rain and snow, which is on the way today. Chris is tracking it all next in your full first alert forecast. That's when News 3 This Morning Sunday continues.
Well, it's a little damp out this morning, but we've actually seen a relaxation of the rain, the sleet, and the wind from overnight. It's going to be picking back up as we go into the afternoon, though. Let's go ahead and show you guys future track right now. Most of the action is just to our north and west as of now, but as time progresses, we're going to see that swing back towards the south and east going through the morning. In the meantime, it's very cloudy out there. The temperature is at 34 degrees. The airport reporting just a little bit of some light rain coming down, but those winds are already starting to pick back up out of the north and northeast at about 15 miles per hour. Temperature-wise, though, we're warmer in the south and east. Milwaukee at 41, Kenosha at 40, Janesville 37. 34, though, here in Madison, freezing at the Dells, and that colder air is gradually getting ready to work its way back into the picture. And so here's how things will change going through the day. Right now, we have winds out of the north and east, but farther into the afternoon, we will see those winds then turn out of the north and west. And so you'll even be able to see that on radar as well. That northeasterly wind is kind of orienting where that snow is to the north. But in time, as our winds turn out of the north and west, we will see that snow move back in from the north and west as well. I think around 3:30 to 4 o'clock is when we'll see some of the heavier snows flying across across the area before things begin to wind down. Expect things to wind down probably around 6 or 7 or so, and then especially moving on out as we get you towards 9 to 10 o'clock. But still, we're going to keep a lot of the cloud cover around tonight along with cooler temperatures. The snow that falls will not amount to much. We're talking an inch at best, and if you do get an inch, you're lucky. You are a very lucky person. But that region of low pressure is moving right over us right now at a very fast rate. Eventually behind it, high pressure slips in out of Canada, and then a cold pattern is going to take over the country for the next several days. And so here's how things are going to play out. Tonight, once the snow moves away, we'll see those temperatures falling into the 20s, with the cloud cover actually helping to keep things just a little bit warmer overnight tonight. Tomorrow, we won't get above the freezing mark. Expect those highs to be right around 30. But then by Tuesday, skies clear out, and that is when we'll begin to see our temperatures drop as well. In fact, we'll be staying in the 20s through Tuesday, and really all the way into next Tuesday, we'll see those temperatures in the 20s for highs as well. So it will be a very cold couple of days. In fact, we are pretty likely to be below average in terms of temperatures across the entire eastern half of the country. Across the desert Southwest and the West Coast, though, they will be above average in temperature, and that is a sign of what's to come. I do think we will actually get a period of above average temperatures going through at least a part of December. But for now, we are going to be pretty chilly for the next 7 to 10 days. Again, the next chance for some flurries and snow that comes into the picture as we go Thursday night and into Friday. Accumulations with that one as of now look to be around an inch, but we have several days to track that and see how that may change. But in the meantime, we're going to see days with mixes of sun and clouds and temperatures that are in the 20s and lows in the teens and maybe even single digits some of those days. So it's going to be a pretty cold 7 to 10 days, and then we'll see what happens after that.
That time of the year where you just really don't know what to expect.
You really don't. You can get a little bit of everything this time of the year. Last night was a good example of that. You got the rain, the wind, the thunder, along with sleet and snow in places. So it's Wisconsin, and let's take winter by the horns, I guess.
You never know what Mother Nature is going to bring you.
Absolutely.
All right, Chris, thank you.
Anytime.
We've been asking you to share your morning with us, and check out this good one. Lucky posted this on our Facebook page. It is steam rising off the Blue River. That is a beautiful shot right there. Thank you so much for sharing, Lucky. What does your morning look like? Take a picture and post it to the Channel 3000 Facebook page or on Twitter. Use the hashtag MyNews3Morning, and that's how we can pick out our favorites and air them right here on the morning show. Right now, fewer people in Wisconsin are signing up for health insurance through the Affordable Care Act. Around 62,000 people are enrolled in health plans this year. The number is behind last year's total, which was around 78,000. Local governments and nonprofits like the United Way are ramping up their efforts to help people registered for health insurance or health coverage. There are about 2 weeks left this year to openly enroll. 7:17 right now. A pair of rare conjoined twins are back home this morning after undergoing a successful separation surgery. Doctors were able to get that done. And listening to your body while eating this holiday season, easier said than done, of course, but why it could help you keep off those unwanted pounds. The news is back in the morning on News 3 This Morning Sunday. Welcome back at 7:21 on the Health Watch this morning. The holiday season triggers anxiety for many Americans worried about weight gain. But a new approach to good nutrition tells us just trust your body and forget about the scale. Nutritionist Alyssa Rumsey is one of those health professionals encouraging her clients to ditch their diets. Rumsey gives clients permission to eat what they want as long as there's a healthy balance. The idea is if you stop restricting the foods you crave, you're less likely to binge.
Just get used to the fact, okay, ice cream is going to be there. I can have it if I want it. And you know what? I don't actually feel like having it tonight.
Rumsey also tells her clients to throw away their scales. She says rather than focusing on a number, focus on how your body feels and it will lead to healthier decisions. Parents, just another reason to be proud of your kids. Some here locally are getting national recognition for being physically fit. Out of more than 200 schools participating in the Mission Healthy Kids Challenge, both Mount Horeb Intermediate Center and St. James School in Madison received $500 grants to go toward their fitness goals. New Century School in Verona and Mineral Point Elementary also got classroom awards for their efforts in the program. The challenge is put on by Kohl's and the Children's Hospital of Wisconsin. The next one starts in February with a focus on nutrition. There is some new research happening on the UW campus that could help slow down or even reverse the effects of multiple sclerosis. MS is a disease affecting the nervous system and breaks down communication between the body and the brain, and it can be completely debilitating. A new study at UW-Madison takes a look at a new way to regrow the coating on cells in the nervous system damaged by the disease. Researchers say this discovery could help lead to a treatment that might even slow down or cure MS. Conjoined twins are rare, occurring just once in every 200,000 live births. But even more rare are successful separation surgeries, especially when the babies share an organ. That's why this next story is cause for celebration. Christina Costalos explains.
No longer attached at the torso, but these two sisters still share an unbreakable bond.
Oh my God, they're so cute!
After spending 2.5 weeks calling hospital home, today once conjoined twins Nima and Dawa were discharged as individuals.
I'm good, Dawa and Nima, I'm good.
The 15-month-olds from Bhutan were flown to Melbourne with mum. It took a team of 25 to separate the cheeky pair during a tense 6-hour operation.
The scars have healed well, they're looking strong, and certainly the girls seem to have very good muscle support over their tummies.
While they still can't speak, the language of the Wiggles is universal.
Their main form of communication is, which is yummy, yummy, and we want something to eat. So they're finding their own way of communicating.
Nina and Dawa can't walk yet, but that's the next hurdle.
We always knew this was an investment in a long journey, and we also knew we were only one step in that journey.
The girls will continue their recovery and rehabilitation at a retreat in Kilmore, which is just an hour north of Melbourne. Every step of the way, Mum will be by their side. She's forever grateful to Australia and learned specifically how to say these words.
Thank you, and media, cameraman, and everybody, and thank you so much.
And I can tell that she's been practicing pretty hard, and it was quite touching that she took the effort.
Even her former king took time to send a letter of thanks.
It's wonderful, isn't it? What an honour.
Expressing his deep gratitude and appreciation.
Amazing story out of Australia there. Back here in Wisconsin, an ambulance service is using essential oils to cut down on pain medications. Tri-State Ambulance is putting 6 different types of oils in its La Crosse area ambulances to help treat pain, nausea, and anxiety. The company's medical director says paramedics often give small doses of fentanyl or other opioids to patients who end up not needing a pain medication prescription. He says the oils will not only be used in cases where patients have minor pain and other complaints. Paramedics will also have access to liquid Tylenol as another alternative to opioids. A new technology could also help accelerate the time it takes to heal your wounds. A team of researchers at UW-Madison have developed a bandage that could be a game changer for the medical field. One researcher said a wound that would normally take 2 weeks to heal would be healed in 3 days with this bandage. It uses your own body motions to generate an electric pulse, and it sends it through your wound to help it heal faster.
They have limited charges, and they are gentle, mild electric pulses, so they will not harm human bodies.
Right now, they are just testing on rats, trying to get the funding to test on humans eventually. Researchers still don't know when this will hit the market, but say when it does, it won't cost much more than a regular box of Band-Aids. 7:26 right now, and there's more real news ahead here on News 3 This Morning Sunday. Coming up, the special way our community and country plan to honor the passing of a former president. And it's a Christmas classic hitting the stage at an area high school. We're heading backstage at A Christmas Story the Musical with Michael Bruno when News 3 This Morning Sunday continues. Wisconsin legislators are getting ready to head back to the Capitol this week for a special session which could impact when you vote in the next election.
This is News 3 This Morning Sunday.
Good morning and welcome back to News 3 This Morning Sunday. It is just about 7:30 on December 2nd. I'm Josh Breiter. Meteorologist Chris Reese will have the latest winter storm track in just a moment, but first here's what's making news this morning. The family of former President George H.W. Bush and Americans across the country plan to pay their final respects this week. Bush will lie in state at the U.S. Capitol from tomorrow until Wednesday before a memorial service at the National Cathedral in D.C. Wednesday afternoon. President Trump announced Wednesday will be considered a national day of mourning, an honor reserved for only a select few, usually former presidents. This Thursday, Bush will be laid to rest at his presidential library in College Station, Texas, alongside his wife, Barbara. Madison's Catholic community will have a chance to pay their respects to the late Bishop Robert Morlino this week. A vigil and visitation will be held for Bishop Morlino at Holy Name Heights tomorrow afternoon from 1 until 7. Morlino died at the age of 71 after suffering an apparent heart attack while undergoing medical tests 2 weeks ago. His funeral will be held Tuesday at St. Maria Goretti on the west side. James Bartilla is serving as administrator for the Madison Diocese until Pope Francis appoints a new bishop, which could take about a year to do. There could soon be a new stretch of trail along the north side of Lake Mendota. The county is looking at paying $200,000 for nearly 6 acres of land, where half a mile of trail would run parallel to County Highway M. That would eventually link up to paths in Governor Nelson State Park. The hope is to eventually connect places like Governor Nelson, Pheasant Branch Conservancy, Mendota County Park, and Schumacher Farm Park, all with off-road bike trails. And if you're looking forward to hitting the slopes with the family this winter, there's a place to get gear for a good price this weekend. The UW Hoofer Ski and Snowboard Club is having a resale event where you can get deals on skis, snowboards, and apparel. You can shop new or slightly used gear for all ages. And if you're looking to donate something you've outgrown, you can clean it and drop it off at Union South. That sale is happening all day long today. Proceeds go to Hoofer's Trips, including their annual free ski trip with nonprofits like the Boys and Girls Club. 7:32, and I can see Chris already lighting up with the sight of that snow out there.
Yeah, there's a ski resort not too far from my house, and I'd love to go and just watch the snow that they are planting out there. But hopefully we can get a little bit of fresh snow on the slopes as we go through today. It wouldn't be much, though. The temperature right now, 34 degrees. Of course, we do have a lot of cloud cover out there. A little bit of rain being reported at the airport, so you might see some drizzle in some spots. Wind starting to pick back up out of the north and northeast at 15 miles per hour. Now, temperatures throughout the morning likely will stay steady right around 34 degrees. We'll have a mix transitioning over to some light snow as we head into the afternoon. Again, temperatures around 34 degrees before they begin to drop. It's likely we've already seen our high temperature for today earlier on. But right now, that regional low pressure passing right over Madison. Winds out of the northeast, and so you're seeing the snow move from the northeast and towards the south and west right now. But as we go into the afternoon, that wind direction changes. We begin to see that snow work its way towards the south and east. I think around 3 and 4 o'clock is when we could see some of the heaviest snow in our area. We're talking half an inch to an inch of snow at best, but then that scoots on out of here as we head through the dinner time hours, and then eventually by 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, I think all of the snow should be gone. We'll leave the cloud cover around, though. Temperatures will be staying into the 30s for those overnight lows. First alert traffic is smooth this morning. We are seeing a few more cars on the Beltline at Todd Drive right now, but still no issues being reported across the city of Madison or Dane County this morning, Josh.
All right, Chris, thank you.
Anytime.
7:33 right now. Republican leaders at the state capitol will talk about placing limits on early voting during their lame duck session this week. The proposal would cut in-person absentee voting by about a week, meaning you could only vote early starting about 2 weeks before an election. They also want to move the 2020 presidential primary election from April to March. Senate Majority Leader Scott Fitzgerald has said that would help conservative Supreme Court Justice Dan Kelly keep his seat. But a local clerk says he doesn't think it's possible to move the date.
It would be a chaos and Florida-like to add an election at that point. And so it's very frustrating, and the clerks across the state, Republican, Democratic alike, are dead set against this.
Lawmakers will also consider a bill that would also dramatically weaken the power of Attorney General-elect Josh Kaul. Another measure would take away Governor-elect Tony Evers' powers to appoint the CEO of the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation. Right now, Honda is recalling 122,000 minivans worldwide because the sliding doors can open while the vans are moving. The recall covers Odyssey vans from 2018 and 2019. Honda says some parts in the power door latches can stick and stop the doors from fastening securely. Owners should take their vans to a dealer as soon as they get a recall letter, which will be mailed in late December. Fiat Chrysler is introducing its first Jeep truck in 25 years. Check it out there. The Jeep Gladiator debuted this weekend at the Los Angeles Auto Show. It resembles the iconic Wrangler with the utility of a pickup truck. It comes in a number of trim levels and is expected to be in showrooms in the second quarter of 2019. This week, a colossal security breach has hit the world's largest hotel operator, Marriott, exposing the personal information of many of 500 million guests. Company officials say guest addresses, dates of birth, and passport numbers were exposed through its Starwood reservation systems. Some customers' credit cards numbers and expiration dates were also compromised.
All the info that a crook could use to spin up a fake account in your name. Guard yourself ahead of time, freeze your credit. Don't depend on anybody else to do it for you because nobody cares as much about your money as you do.
Marriott CEO Arnie Sorensen apologized for the breach, saying, quote, "We fell short of what our guests deserve and what we expect of ourselves," end quote. Marriott is alerting customers through email and has set up a dedicated website for those with questions. Switching gears this morning, A Christmas Carol, the musical, is a song-filled version of the film A Christmas Story. It takes place in the 1940s in Indiana and focuses on the story we all love of a child named Ralphie who wants a Red Ryder BB gun for Christmas. The production is currently being staged by the Verona Area Community Theater. Our Michael Bruno goes backstage to show us.
Who's ready to say uncle?
Ah! On every playground, there's a war taking place between the bullies and the wimps that they chase. And if you're part of the pack, that's always under attack, you quickly learn that you don't fight back.
A Christmas Story tells the story of 9-year-old Ralphie Parker, who lives in Holman, Indiana,
with his family, Randy, and his mom and dad. And so there's a storyteller, and he works for like a radio station.
And he frames the story. So it's all about him recalling this story when Ralphie Parker was a kid.
He desperately wants the Red Ryder carbine action BB gun for Christmas, and he's faced with multiple events in the crazy holiday season.
He has some challenges at school with his classmates. He has some challenges with his parents. He has some challenges with his teacher.
and all he wants for Christmas is the Red Ryder carbine action BB gun. However, whenever he tries to bring it up, he is greeted with the classic,
"You'll shoot your eye out. You'll shoot your eye out.
You'll shoot your eye out."
And he is always faced with that, and it's very frustrating for him because he really wants the gun. That is everything he wants this Christmas holiday.
When you're a whip, when you're a whip.
The musical actually follows the plot of the movie quite closely. If anything, I think the musical just added a lot more heart to the story. You still have all those really campy, funny moments from the movie.
I like the songs a lot. I really like musicals, and they're actually pretty similar, but they're both, one has songs and one doesn't, but they're both hilarious.
But I feel like it's a lot more emotional, and you walk away from it feeling a little more about family and Christmas and the holiday spirit.
And of course, being a musical, it really expanded with these huge show numbers in there.
Every moment from the movie that you love, the leg lamp, the flagpole, is all matched with a song now, so you can relive those moments in song.
Hold on to that dream. When you're a whip.
My question is, have you ever really stuck your tongue on a flagpole outside when it's like 20 below?
I have not, but my mom has.
And did she stick to it?
Yeah.
So, you know I'm going to triple dog dare you to stick your tongue on that phone.
When you're a whip. When you're a whip.
You have one more chance to see A Christmas Story, the musical, in person. It's showing this afternoon at 2 o'clock at the Verona Area Community Theater. You can get tickets by visiting the link right there on your screen. You can also find it on channel3000.com. 7:39 right now. The Badgers are heading to their 17th straight bowl game, and we'll find out later today where they'll play and who they'll face. And it's all or nothing for the Packers as they return to Lambeau today. They're facing they're actually the favorite going into the afternoon game against Arizona. But the road ahead won't be easy. We'll explain when News 3 This Morning Sunday returns. Welcome back at 7:43. It might have been a disappointing year for the Wisconsin Badgers football team, but we'll find out later today who they'll be playing in their 17th straight bowl game. At 7-5, the Badgers finished the year in second place in the Big Ten West Division and 5th overall in the conference. Right now, CBS Sports is predicting the Badgers will end up facing Missouri in the Tax Slayer Bowl in Jacksonville, Florida on New Year's Eve. We'll be sure to let you know where the Badgers officially end up on our news tonight and on the Channel 3000 mobile app. Tickets will go on sale on Tuesday. If the Packers want any chance at a postseason, it starts with a win this afternoon. They'll host the 2-9 Cardinals at Lambeau today at noon. Aaron Rodgers may be without his best lineman to watch his blind side, though. Left tackle David Bakhtiari was limited at practice this week and may be a game-time decision. That could be a problem when it comes to trying to slow down Arizona's Chandler Jones, who has 11 sacks this year. You can watch today's game on Fox, and we'll, of course, have post-game highlights on our news at 10. The Packers have to win the rest of their games this season to make it to the playoffs. 7:43 right now, and if you've taken a look outside, I don't blame you if you want to jump back into bed. I would be doing the same if I wasn't at work. Our dreary weather continues with more rain and snow headed our way. Chris has everything you need to know going into the work week. But first, happy birthday to all of the kids turning 3 years old today. Thanks for celebrating with us on News 3 this morning.
We're watching the radar now as we continue to track wave 2 of the system that will move through the area today. Most of the rain and snow is to the north and west of Madison, but now things are starting to shift towards the south and east. We'll continue to see more of that as we go through the rest of the morning and into the afternoon. Right now, it's very cloudy out there. The temperature is at 34 degrees. We've got a little bit of light rain being reported at the airport. Most of that's in the form of some drizzle. The winds will also begin to pick up as well into the afternoon. Right now, they are out of the north and northeast at 15 miles per hour. Temperature-wise, we're seeing those warmer temperatures farther towards the south and east. Janesville, 35 degrees right now, of course 34 here in Madison. As we work towards the north and west, we see those temperatures begin to fall below freezing. 32 in the Dells, same for Camp Douglas, same for Viroqua over there. But those temperatures will all begin to come down later on throughout the day. Here's that northwesterly or northeasterly wind that will be becoming northwesterly into the afternoon. As it does so, that's when we'll begin to see more of the rain and snow begin to work its way towards us here in Madison. Here's future track going through the afternoon. You'll see that snow working its way on into town. Once it moves on through, we'll get you towards the end of the dinner time hours. It actually will begin to come to an end rather quickly as drier air works in and takes over. But we'll still keep that cloud cover around at least through early tomorrow morning. In terms of snowfall amounts, not a lot. We're talking about an inch of snow at best. These are the higher totals. Some of those low-end totals will likely be just flurries to a trace, if anything. But this system moving on to the north and east now. Behind it, Arctic high pressure coming out of Canada, and that's going to build in a cold regime as we go through the next several days. And so that starts tomorrow. As if this weekend was not cold enough, it just gets colder as we head into the work week. We'll see those lows around 28 tonight, only warming up to about 30 degrees as we head into tomorrow. Then the clouds clear out, and when the clouds clear out and Arctic high pressure begins to move in, that's when you have to watch out. And we may have some days where we really struggle to get out of the 20s. By this time next week, perhaps 23 is the high for the day. That means you're spending most of the day in the teens. So we will watch this, but it's very likely that the entire eastern half of the country will continue to see temperatures that are below average at least through the next 6 to 10 days. And so that starts right here in Madison with those temperatures staying in the 20s. We will have another shot at some light snow, probably about an inch at best Thursday night and into Friday. And then beyond that, we will be mostly cloudy with a little bit of sunshine mixing in to the picture as well. If that puts you to sleep, just say hello to Griswold in Janesville. He knew exactly what to do when he saw that forecast.
It's that time of weather, or type of weather, I should say.
It's that time of the year that you're going to get a lot of that. And so I guess we will bundle up and stay close to our loved ones, which it's the holidays. So.
It is.
Yes,
Spread
sir.
that Christmas cheer.
Yes.
All right, Chris, thank you. Time right now is 7:51. Stay with News 3 this weekend. On our evening news, we'll have everything you need to know about the Badgers and the team they'll face in this year's bowl game. But first, here on News 3 this morning, 100 years and still going strong. We'll meet the familiar face greeting worshipers at the door of one Midwestern church this holiday season. It's a story you won't want to miss right here on News 3 This Morning Sunday. It is 7:54 this morning. Many people will celebrate the holiday season at their local churches, putting many new faces in the crowd. But at one place of worship in downtown Minneapolis, one thing hasn't changed for nearly 80 years.
We are talking about the man greeting people at the door. Katie Steiner shares his story.
Week after week.
Good morning. Oh, Bill. Hey. Good to see you.
When you walk into the Hennepin Avenue United Methodist Church, Bill Pilgrim is there at the door.
Good to see you. We should try to have breakfast before Christmas. I'll call you. Oh, that's right. Good. Okay.
Morning.
Good morning.
Thank you, Bill. Everyone here knows Bill because it seems like he's been here forever.
Bill is our star usher for 79 years, right?
Yeah.
How about that? He trains them all in.
I got a card, 70 years. I get a new one next year. It'll be 80 years.
Bill is always at the same door every week before 10 o'clock worship service.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello. Good to see you.
And he's so involved in his church because of all the people he's met here.
Practically all our friends are here. And it seems like we've made a lot of friends. Of course, there aren't many my age anymore, but there's I got a lot of younger friends now.
You have a nice Thanksgiving.
Yes, I did. How about you?
I had a wonderful Thanksgiving.
And no Sunday morning is complete without Bill's favorite catchphrase.
Bill, how are you doing? Well, still kicking. Good morning.
How are you?
Pretty good, thanks.
Good.
Still kicking anyway. Not very high.
Yeah. It's good to see you, though.
And once the service starts, Bill moves to the sanctuary. And that sanctuary is almost as old as he is.
It was funny. 2 years ago, we celebrated our 100th birthday. Happened to be on my 99th birthday.
Life has given Bill Pilgrim a pretty good run.
Good to see you, Bill.
Sure.
How's it going?
Katie Steiner, WCCO 4 News.
This
Welcome
is
to Hennepin.
our new minister.
Bill doesn't just attend church services on Sundays. He spends his Wednesday afternoons in the church's wood shop fixing whatever needs to be fixed. How about that?
I know, serving till the end there. I like it. Pretty beautiful. Speaking of what's not beautiful, though, is the weather outside. And we're going to see a lot of that cloud cover around. Hopefully we can get some snow to pretty things up as we go into the afternoon, though. Temperatures will be dropping beyond that, staying in the 20s beyond Monday and to infinity, apparently, because there are no other warmer days in the forecast. But I do think we will get them. We just got to get closer towards the middle of the month. Some light snow possible Thursday night into Friday as well.
Right, Chris, thank you. Thanks for joining us. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you tomorrow on News 3 This Morning.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.